Coming to you from my hotel room in Dublin, Ireland, this is Boxed In with Mike Tartaglia. Sorry for the delay this week. I was on a flight last night, so we're going to be pushing back this episode to Thursday night, but we still have a big weekend of racing ahead of us, although not as large as the last two weekends where we saw the Hambletonian and the Dan Patch. We'll be reviewing the Dan Patch today. We'll look forward to some of the big races this weekend, including the Zweig Memorial, the Artiscape, the Roll, and our feature race of the weekend, the Prix D'Ete. So our first one, of course, will be the Dan Patch. That was last Friday night at Hoosier Park, Hoosier Park's biggest night of racing. And 20 points go to the New Zealand Invader Lazarus making his debut, coasting home in 148 and change, just easily crushing his foes. McWicked really never got up to the front. No one really could get past Lazarus once he hit the front off the first turn, just coasting home on that Hoosier Park stretch. He'll take 20 points and he'll start at 10th in the pace division standing. I'm sure that we will see him crack the top 5 very soon. While we won't see Lazarus in either of our points races for the pace this weekend with the Roll with Joe and the Prix D'Ete, we will see him most likely in the Canadian Pacing Derby eliminations the following week at Woodbine Mohawk, where he will try to get into the Canadian Pacing Derby final. The final, of course, is going to be a 20-point race, 5-point race for the Elim, so 25 points potentially for Lazarus, which would put him sitting at 45 points, enough to put him into 4th and moving very close into contention with McWicked. Winning the Breeders' Crown later in the season would definitely put him right on top. As for the other big race of the weekend, it was the Carl Milstein Memorial for the 3-year-old Colton Gelding Pacers. And finally, Think Big, Dream Big, who I've been having really huge thoughts on for about a month now, gets that huge top win. So Think Big, Dream Big moves in the top 5 with a win. A 20-point win, goes from 7 points to 27 points, and cracks the top 5 that are still led by Lather Up and Dursa Duro Hanover. But a very contentious top 5 in the pace, 3-year-old Colton Gelding's pace division. They get a week off, and then they'll be tuning things up in the Messenger and Limson final. We will see some of our top pacers, though, going in the Empire Breeders' Classic Series final. Courtly Choice is one of those that we're racing in the Empire Breeders' Classic final on this weekend at Tioga. No points will be up for grabs there. This is not considered a Grand Circuit race because it is a state-bred race, but a very good freshening for the Messenger if Courtly Choice chooses to supplement. Finally, going into this weekend, we have the Prix D'Ete at Hippodrome 3R. Only 10 points up in this pace race, but a very strong field of 8 going, led by Western Joe, coming out of a huge a winner a few back on Hambletonian Day. Some other top ones, of course, are Filibuster Hanover, who is second at McWicked in the pace division standings. Bloodline, a very good one for Jimmy Tactor, and Me So Fast, who is very quick for Daniel Dubé, and one to watch. Although usually does better on the larger tracks like the Meadowlands, Me So Fast has been learning how to do a smaller track. Was very good earlier this season in Pennsylvania. But Western Joe will be my selection on the far outside. I do think Western Joe dominates this field both on speed figures in the last few and classes. Filibuster Hanover has started to fall down a little bit in the Ron Burke brigade, although Burke brings in the 1A at Art Hanover with Filibuster Hanover. So Burke does have 2 very good ones, as does Richard Moreau, who has American Wiggle and Modern Reflection. But I do think Western Joe with Doug McNair is going to be the one to beat in the Prix D'Ete at Hippodrome 3R. A very good race up there in Canada. We'll see if Western Joe, who's right now sitting at 5th, will win here, gets him much closer to that 4th position. Can't pass any horses here. He can't move into 4th, but getting to 47 points will really help him. He'll be 10 points behind Filibuster Hanover, assuming he doesn't pick up any points in this race, for that 2nd spot. So trying to catch McWicked, who still leads well, again, we have Lazarus coming up. Lazarus is going to be very tough in this division, but McWicket's still the leader after some very good races earlier this season. Other points races on the docket. It is a somewhat light weekend of racing before we head into a very big weekend next week at Yonkers and at Mohawk. But we have the two divisions of the Zweig Memorial Manchego will face off against the boys. Six-pack alarm detector in the one division of the Zweig, the open division, and then Besquat Plunge Blue Chip Perfect Summer K will be in the filly division of the Zweig Memorial at Vernon Downs, and that is tomorrow, Friday, August 17th. Then on Sunday, Tioga Downs is a big day of racing, headlined by not only the Empire Breeders' Classic Finals, which we'll talk about in a moment, but they'll have the third leg of the Miss Versatility Series, two of them. Broadway Donna is going to be in there, as well as Barn Bella, NF Happenstance, Celebrity Ruth, PL Jill. Not all of the big heavy hitters in the trot division, but with the falls of our top mares last week, Hannelore Hanover and Ariana G, for the second consecutive week, it really gives another pull for these trotters to push up in the Versatility Series. The final, I believe, is going to be, I want to say it's either Delaware County Fair, Little Brown Jug Meet, or it's at the Red Mile. I can't remember off the top of my head where the final for the Miss Versatility Series is, but coming close to that final there in the Filly Mare Trot division. We'll also have two divisions for Pacers, the Filly Mare Pace in the Artiscape. Chartin and Nike Franco will match up there with LA Delight and Blue Moon Stride. Some of the top Filly Mare Pacers going here. I might boost that up to 20 points there, because this has come out to a very tough race. Some of the best ones here. While the Joe, small field, only a field of 5 here. Rock and Ron, Delta winner, all bets off. Dr. J Hanover and Western Fame. Rock and Ron looks to be the one to beat there, but Delta winner is a tough horse and one that you really need to watch out for. As for two other races, although there's no points on the line here, in the Empire Breeders' Classic, we have the Fillies final and the Colts and Geldings final. The Fillies, it's Alexis Faith, I'm Trigger Happy, and You Are My Candy Girl being really the three tough ones to beat there. While in the Colton Geldings final, we do have Courtly Choice, our Meadowlands Pace winner, as well as two top pacers in American History and Hitman Hill, who are very quick on the front end. As for next week, that will start a huge weekend of racing. We have multiple limbs, Canadian Pacing Derby, and the Maple Leaf Trot eliminations at Mohawk in combination with a couple other points races that they'll be having. And then a huge weekend of racing, the Yonkers Trot, the Messenger, the Hudson Filly, and Lady Maud eliminations for 3-year-olds, both Colts and Geldings and Fillies in their respective divisions. And on that Saturday will be the Reynolds Series, some of those for the 2-year-olds at Tioga Downs. As always, we hope watch every Wednesday or Thursday, as it's been the last 2 weeks, on YouTube, Boxed In, where we cover the world of harness racing. I'm very much hoping next Wednesday it should be back to our usual night. I believe my flight will be back in to the States early enough that I'll be able to record that night. If not, it will be Thursday, so just check out Twitter at MJTags11 for more information on that. I hope you enjoy this weekend of harness racing, and I look forward to talking to you next week. This has been Boxed In for the week. See you next week.